complexity from your team. So you do business, we take care of the blockchain. So that's the idea. What we figured, there are kind of four major obstacles like for the companies to go like with their L2 solutions. The first is like a lack of the infrastructure. In Gateway, we run 15,000 servers, right? So the prices for the infrastructure that we are getting, it's not even the close that 99% of the Web3 folks here might have. We know how to optimize the stack, and what we usually do, we sit with our customers like every month and just go through like every dollar spent and advise them what they can do better, right? Lack of knowledge. It sounds easy to deploy the chain because you have the platform, but then like ZK, it's not easy, right? You need to know how to operate with the prover. And there are like 15 different servers all communicating and working together to have the rollup. Lack of budget, right? So we want to make sure that you don't burn money on unnecessary infrastructure. So we start something small and then scale once you need it. So the auto scaling is a very important part. And lack of trust. In the Web3, it's like trust is the most expensive currency, right? You would rather probably work with your friends whom you trust than some random company. We've been around for 4 years, so we work with the enterprises, we work with Polygon, we work with Arbitrum, Linea. So we are the one who will stick with you and solve your problems. We will not run away. We will not change our strategy and kind of suddenly focus on like different things that happen to us with our customers. So how do we solve this problem? We figured that public clouds, they're quite expensive. And you know, probably if you work with AWS, the bills there, they're crazy. So what we've done here, we open up the hybrid approach for the rollups. For example, part of the infrastructure, this is like a core infrastructure, is based on the bare metal because it's way cheaper. And bare metal is literally the physical servers that you pay companies to install for you and to run for you. So if we know that okay, we have like 30 zkVM rollups, and we run, I don't know, 50 provers. And the prover is the most expensive component. So what we do there, we got the deal with the bare metal providers. We physically buy the machines, they install it for us, and we managed to decrease the cost by 5 times compared to the public RPC, to the public cloud. So this is the hybrid approach, where the most expensive components, they're on the bare metal, and then the other components that you need to auto scale, they're on the public cloud, right? This is the way to kind of to cover the infrastructure and to help with the budget. The next one is apply research. So as I indicated, we were developers of CDK Aragon. And like it doesn't matter if it's like us or our competitors, they all use basically the tech that we develop, and we support like Alchemy, we support QuickNote, we support Ziv because they're using basically our tech to deploy rollups. We contributors to Ethereum, we working with Arbitrum, we are working on a lot of R&D projects with Linea and Optimism, right? So as a base layer, you get the experience of the team who knows how to run the blockchain from the inside out. Right? And for example, for one of the projects that related to exchange in India, they have some crazy requirements. They say like, for us, latency is the most important part. So what we've done for them, we replaced the Merkle tree to the more efficient, with the like more efficient version of the Merkle tree, just to decrease the time between the blocks. So even in ZK EVM network, you can get like a time between the blocks like 250 milliseconds. And you can go even lower than that. Or for example, if you have the latency, if you're not happy with the latency of RPC infrastructure, what we can do there, we can provide you the access to the sequencer straight away, bypassing the RPC infrastructure to decrease the latency even more. So this is kind of customization that will be that is available for you because like our team developed this stack and we know how to do that. Yeah, that's the example of the platform. So it's like quite easy to do. You select the software stack, you select custom gas token, like couple of customization, you press deploy, and then you have it, right? So by the end of this presentation, you'll be able to deploy your own L2 networks yourself, and it's very easy. I shared the link with my mom; she could deploy it. So like I believe like people here should be able to do that. As of now, we have 2,600 blockchains deployed through the platform. A lot of them, they're devnets, right? People like me and you, just like to test out, just to see what's going on, like how to deploy the smart contracts, how the breach works, and so on. We lowered the infrastructure cost by 10 times using the hybrid approach and efficient execution client. And there are like multiple customization that you can do for the blockchain out of the box. So the platform allows you to deploy everything in 3 clicks. By doing that, you will get a dashboard with analytics. You will get native bridge. You will get a block explorer, faucet to get the tokens. You'll get custom gas customizations. For example, you want one transaction to cost like Dmitry token, or you want transaction to have like to be like a 1% out of the whole size of the transaction. This is possible out of the box. You don't need to do anything. You just like message us or use the Presto platform to do this customization on your own. You have hard hat configurations just to download, and then you can work with the smart contracts. You have MetaMask integration out of the box, and you have enterprise RPC infrastructure. What does it mean? The Rollup component is quite easy. What is hard is to build the whole ecosystem on top of that. And then once you have the Rollup, like there are a lot of companies on the market that say like, oh, Rollups would cost you like $1,000, and then they charge you like $150,000 for the RPC infrastructure. Here, you have it already embedded into the Rollup. So you can generate your private key to share it with the partners. You can put the public RPC links in the documentation. You have the caching system. For example, if you send the same request to the RPC infrastructure again and again and again, we're going to store it off-chain and deliver it to you in a matter of like 50 milliseconds instead of waiting like 200 milliseconds for the RPC to optimize the latency. You have the proxy, you have monitoring, you have pretty much like everything already with the Rollup, right? So this is already fixed. Just an example of the customer, like I tried to make it anonymous, but then I figured that we actually have the name of the customer here. So this is Humanity Protocol. What they're doing the proof of humanity. Basically, to prove that you are actually the human, but not the AI bot, an AI agent, right? So they scan your palm, right? And you basically put the signature on the blockchain. This is a very good example how we optimize the cost and how we manage the traffic. During the announcement last week, when they say like they raised the money and the valuation of the company was like $1.1 billion, right? So everybody were like, oh, what is Humanity? Let's check them. And we see like a huge spikes of the traffic. So this is the RPC infrastructure. This is like RPS spikes. And as you can see, the spikes going like all the way up to 30,000 requests per second. This is extremely high amount of traffic, right? They were averaging 400 transactions per second on ZK EVM chain. So that's more than ZK Sync, Linea, and Polygon ZK EVM mainnet altogether combined. And that's just a Rollup. The total amount of transaction was 150 million. Right now, it's more than 200 million transactions. And the total amount of state is 500 gigabytes. Why it's important? Because you can achieve like extremely high numbers on the fresh chain, but then once it's grow, it's harder for the infrastructure to handle this load, right? So this is how we handle the peak load. And what we've done there, we analyze the traffic and we propose to our customer that, okay, we see that you're spending a lot of money on the infrastructure. Let us see how we can optimize it, right? So for them, we deploy the indexer. So instead of calling the RPC infrastructure again and again and again, we deploy the indexer where we package requests and we allow indexer to monitor events and do the calculation on the back end. So we optimize this cost and they end up paying less for this kind of traffic. That's another example from House Network. So they're running testnet, and the amount of transaction there, it's just insane. So it's like more than 1,000 transactions per second during the peak load. And in terms of like gas numbers, it's like 130 million gas per second. Again, if you're familiar with the blockchain, the number of gas, it's more than Ethereum, Polygon, OP, Arbitrum, and Base all together combined. Just like a one network. So that's the performance that you get out of the box by deploying the Rollup. Again, building the ecosystem, this is the hardest part. And the Rollup is the easy one. So how we help our customers to save more money and to speed up the time to market process. We figured that there are native services, they're more popular than others. And like, for example, if you're building RWA platform or I don't know, like carbon credits, you might want to have the indexer because, first of all, it removes the load on the infrastructure. Second, it improves the user experience for your customer, right? If you need to show some number on the front end, you would rather call indexer rather than RPC infrastructure. So the same for the Oracle. If you have RWA platform, you might want to have the prices of your custom gas token, or you might want to have the prices of real estate, well, gold or silver or whatever. Account abstraction to simplify the work with the blockchain, or swap or multisig, right, for the security. All of these services, they're already pre-integrated. So you don't need to go and find, I don't know, the graph or, I don't know, like a Gold Sky and pay them like a quite substantial amount of money. You can just say like, okay, I want indexer, and then you have it in one day. Specifically targeted and built for your use case. The same for the Oracle, the same for account abstraction. Or if we cannot support something, we have like a list of trusted partners with whom we are working. We have the contracts with them, so you can get the discount because you're coming from us. So for example, you're looking for the privacy solution, or for identity, meaning that only users who go through the KYC, KYB process can interact with the chain. So you can say like, okay, gateway, I want you to integrate this partner for our chain, and then we're going to handle it for you. So again, like we're removing the complexity of operating the chains. And that's the example of how the dashboard for the indexer looks like. So we have events, you have requests, you have like error rates, and then you have like the latest block what was managed. And then you can see you have like RPC, you have indexer, you have Oracle, swap, account abstraction, rollup. Everything is packaged under one platform. And then the last layer, which is the interesting one, we call it like enterprise layer. Let's say if you work with banks, with the government, with big Web2 companies, I know from like Microsoft, EY, and so on. The privacy is the most important part for those companies. Why that's important? Because they are solving real world problems. And like, for example, what is the blockchain? It's a huge database, right? It's a very cool use case for example, supply chain management, right? But for the supply chain management, you want to make sure that, for example, if I'm transacting with you, so we know what we're transacting, but then if he's our competitor, we want to keep our information private, so he doesn't know what's going on there, right? So this is the privacy that we provide. We can do selective disclosure if you've been approached by tech authorities and they say like, okay, prove that everything is okay. We are not doing money laundering, right? So the privacy solution allows you to actually prove this information to the governments and to prove that everything is legit what happened in the chain. Compliance. If you work with like a CBDC projects, right, or the banks, they want to make sure that the chain that you built is compliant to the local law, right? If you're based in UK, in London, you also want to make sure that all of this infrastructure and the data that are stored in the chain doesn't leave European Union or UK, right? Because it's going to be questioned if the banks are having their own chain, but the nodes are running in North Korea, right? It's not going to happen. So what we can provide with this solution is to build the infrastructure in some specific region, right? And make sure that the data does not leave this region, right? And so you can follow the sanctions countries, so you can, you can make sure that you're compliant. The special SLA process for the enterprises and identity, right? So what we think of this platform, we compare to like a Web2. So for the Web2, you have like a protocol layer, here like a HTTPS, like a FTP, and so on. So here the protocol layer is like a Polygon tag and the execution client. So you get it as a kind of like a base. Then the infrastructure layer, everything on top. The platform, the RPC infrastructure, indexers, oracles, integrations, privacy. And then like the top layer is your product that you are building. Right? I don't know what kind of ideas you have, but it might be gaming, it might be a loyalty process, it might be stable coin. So this is your product. So with us, you are getting this foundation, right? And then you build on top, right? The same like in the Web2, you have the infrastructure, which is like AWS, and the application is some Minecraft, right? Compared to the real world, kind of like what Polygon provides you is basically the engine. CDK is the engine to run the chain. And we are selling the car, basically. The whole thing, right? With everything. The engine itself is useless unless you have the wheels, unless you have the steering wheel, and so on. That's the last slide, and then we're gonna jump to the platform itself. So I'm gonna run you and show you how to do that. So in the platform, you can either select predefined use cases and get the chain specifically customized for this use case. For example, if it's like supply chain management, then the time between the blocks, it's already predefined. You have the stack, which is like a zk-VM, which is the best for the supply chain management. And you will probably want to make this chain gasless, right? So you don't want to have your custom gas token. If that's stable coin, you want to make sure that the custom gas token is actually your stable coin. So we will propose this solution for you. Let me just go to the platform itself and and just go through here. So you can follow these steps and deploy the rollup yourself. Just like a type gateway.fm and press deploy now. It sends you to the platform itself, and I'm already logged in here. So I have my personal rollup, official Vasil. If you're eligible for airdrop, I can send you some Vasil tokens if you want to. And then we have like a 2 public testnet. The optimistic one called Bergen, and the ZK VM based on Polygon CDK called Stavanger, right? Because company is based in Norway, and this is like Norwegian cities, right? The company is based in Stavanger, so that's our first public testnet. How to deploy the rollup itself? You press deploy. Here you can have like 2 options. You can select and deploy by software stack, or you can select and deploy by use case. Let's just do the easiest one. So it's like a Polygon CDK. It's based on Aragon implementation, and it's like a Ethereum as a custom gas token, or it can be like a Pol as a custom gas token, or your own custom gas token, which is any ERC20 token on the market. You press like a start trial. It usually takes like 20 minutes. Like sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. And then the process is already starting, right? And once it's done, you will get the email, and then you get the notification that your rollup is ready. I'm not gonna wait for this. I'm gonna just jump to my own rollup and brag a little bit about that. So once the deployment is finalized, this is the dashboard that you will see. What do you have here? You can add MetaMask. You can add the rollup to the MetaMask and start transacting if you want to. You can download a hard hat configurations, right? You just press here and just save those configurations, right? And then you open it up, and then you can start deploying the smart contracts. You have the public page, which is interesting. So there is a special link for you. So for example, if you want your customers or your team to access the chain, but without the admin rights, so we can configure what you want to show to those customers with the public page, and then copy this link, put it in documentation, share it with the community, so they will all get access to the connect MetaMask to RPC infrastructure and so on. Here you have the contracts. When you deploy the chain, it is a rollup, so it has to settle data somewhere. So for example, you have to put the aggregator. It sends the zero of knowledge proofs to the layer 1. Sequencer sends a sequence transaction to the layer 1, and then you have the main contract of the rollup. Yeah, it's here. So once you, let me just try to open it. So once you click it here, you see it's Etherscan. So the rollup was deployed that's the last activity that happened on the rollup. So you can see all of the transaction information. Or you go to the aggregator, and that's when the last proof was sent. Or the sequence where the last sequence was sent, right? And so on. Then you have RPC infrastructure. This is the private RPC. You have chain ID, you have URL, and you have the WebSockets. So you don't need to get Infura on board, or Alchemy, or QuickNote to support the RPC. It's already embedded. And then, for example, you want to have the special RPC key for your team, the private RPC. So what you do here, you just say generate the key, right? And that's your private key. you copy it, you have recommended parameters to actually check it's actually working. You can copy it and basically, yeah, you close it and that's it. And then you see the second key was generated, right? So you have already RPC infrastructure embedded in the Rollup. Like that's just amazing, right? Then what you have the gas fee configurations, right? So here by default is the default fee market, meaning the same thing as in Ethereum, right? So you, the more transactions you have, the higher the gas fee is going to be. But you can make it gasless. You can deploy your custom gas token, and you can change it later on if you want to. Then you got a bridge. So this is like a, the branding was done by ChatGPT. I'm sorry about that. And it again, like it works out of the box. So for example, if you want to bridge, I don't know, like from Vasil Rollup to Sepole testnet, like a one token, you just press continue, and yeah, you just press bridge and confirm with like a MetaMask. That's pretty much it. It takes some time if you're bridging between like a layer 2 and layer 1, but if you bridge between like a layer 2 and layer 2, it's just a couple of milliseconds, right? So extremely fast. So and then we can go to the block explorer and check this transaction that it was actually verified. So this is the transaction that happened 24 seconds ago. So as you can see here, success, recharged, confirmed by the sequencer. So that's it. Like I've pressed the button and it's already there. Then, for example, the faucet, right? So this is the example transaction that goes from layer 2 to layer 2, right? So what you can do here, we can just like copy the address of your Ethereum address, paste it here, and press request. And for example, if you go like back to the block explorer, you can see that transaction it already went through, right? So success, right? So that's the beauty of using the platform. So you don't need to actually read through all of this documentation. You don't need to develop your indexer. You don't need to worry about the RPC infrastructure. Go to the platform, do a couple of clicks, and then you have your rollup, and then you can customize it and make sure that it suits your use case. The good thing about that all of the rollups that are built on Polygon CDK stack will get automatically connected to the egg layer, right? So what is egg layer? It's aggregation layer for liquidity, and like honestly, it's just like a fancy way to say bridge, right? But you will get this bridge as a default option, and which is like nice add-on, and why not to use it? So that's. And just like a last thing about the Presto platform, the faucet we discussed, I don't have any data here, so it's like no data, but the dashboard like that shows the data looks like this. This is the public testnet. We have a little bit more transactions there. So you have the analytics, like a chain metrics, like amount of blocks was generated, transactions per second. You have transaction pool, and like the pool is something that you also can customize. For example, if you have I don't know, if you expect the spikes of like 100,000 transactions per second, you can customize the pool size to actually fit all of these transactions. And then you can see like, okay, the pool is like already overloaded, and this is like the queue transaction, this is the pending transactions, and you can see how long it's gonna take. The block gas fees, you have million gas per second, into like a performance. The batches, this is like how prover catch up is like all of the transactions and generate the proofs. You have batch timestamp, meaning that you can also customize and make sure that, for example, if the bridge time is important for you, you want to make sure that the batch is generated fast, or the settlement of batches happening every 10 minutes. But in our case, it's 2 hours, right? Because we want to save money. You can make it like a once per week if you want to, right? Depending on your use case. And yeah, and then like how much money you have left. Like in our case, it's 45 Ether, and the sequencer runs in poll just to enable the egg layer. So an egg layer right now is extremely cheap. If you connect your network to the egg layer, it consumes like 3 pool tokens per day, which is $1. So I guess everybody can afford it. And yeah.
Is this dashboard public for
Yeah.
like for projects?
Yeah, you can make it public. You can keep it to yourself, or you can make it public. It's up to you. Like this is like in the public.
Are any of them like public?
No, they usually prefer to keep it private. But you can, like, for our testnet, is of course it's public, right? But like if you think that you can benefit out of some numbers, we can generate the API for you, and then you can grab these numbers from the rollups if you want to. That's pretty much it. I know. I hope I give you the sense like how to deploy the rollups, what kind of tooling you can get on top, and how to customize it per your application. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is it testnet or mainnet or devnet, and what's the difference?
In this case, this is the testnet, so the settlement is happening on Ethereum Sepolia, but the same process is happening for the mainnet, right? But for the mainnet, we do not allow everyone to deploy mainnets. Why? Because initially, when we just started the platform around like 2 years ago, you could do that. You can change the name of your rollup, and then we've seen that some like very smart individuals, they were naming their rollup as like a Ethereum mainnet. And they have the custom gas token as Ethereum mainnet. And then it was like, yeah, no, we're not going to support these kind of scam projects. So if you go mainnet, we want to make sure that we want to talk to you, make sure that you're a legit person. And then we name it for you, we generate the gas token, and so on. So what you can deploy like automatically, that's the testnets, right? Or the devnets. And the difference between testnet and devnet is redundancy, right? Devnet is like the cheapest possible option. It's based on one server. The testnet is geographically distributed, a lot of servers, a lot of redundancy, right? And the mainnet is the copy of the testnet, but with the settlement to the Ethereum mainnet.
How much is it to start to deploy a devnet?
Depends, but usually the sandbox, like these public testnets, so for example, Stavanger is free of charge, so you can just go and learn and deploy something. If you want to go like with the devnet, it's $1,000 per month, including everything like bridges, block explorers, like all of these goodies, and then the mainnet starts from like $3,000, like, and can go all the way up to, I don't know, $30,000 per month, depending on the traffic that you have. But again, like what we're gonna do, we're gonna analyze the traffic, and we're gonna scale only the infrastructure components that that is actually important for you.
Can I get a discount?
You can. Yeah, but again, like if you need more information, or you would like to talk, get some, I don't know, advisory, happy to chat. We can exchange telegrams or introduce to our technical team, and yeah.
So, like, how exactly does it look with tooling for those rollups? They came to you, right? You advise them that they probably need what, Tenderly or like some like other support, right, of other like stuff, and like how they decide, what to choose later, and how do you decide which, I guess, like protocols to actually support?
Yeah, again, like this example, like we are selling the car, right, the complete car, basically, not just like engine. And usually our customers, they don't have enough knowledge to decide in terms of like a tooling. It's like very rare where they say like, oh, we want Biconomy, or we want like a Tenderly, or we want this one. They come to us and say like, we have this problem, how can we solve it? And then we propose them solutions. Like, you can develop it yourself. That's gonna probably cost you like this much money and like 3 months of work. You can use our partners, like the trusted partners with whom you're working, and we have the list of partners so they can select it. Or they can come to us with the already defined provider and say like a gateway integrated for us, and then we're gonna do that. In terms of like partners, we are launching a Presto App Store where you have like a different verticals. Yeah, but we want to make sure that you have automated integration for all of the partners. So if you need a bridge, you click add the bridge, and then we do the automation and deployment of the bridge on the backend. So we want to remove the complexity from the user, so they don't need to talk to the bridge owner or to us, right? So they say like, yeah, this bridge, this indexer, this identity product, this shared sequencer, and you just click select whatever you want. We want to be completely transparent with the prices and the time that it's going to take to integrate.
For anyone that wants to kind of like play around on on their own. Do you have like demo videos that we can watch on the website?
Yeah, there is a very cool video was developed by Jared. He used to be the dev rel for Polygon, and he actually walked through the Presto platform and showed how to do that. But again, for people in this room, there's like I can provide you the free DevNet for a couple of weeks, so you can like play around and just like learn it yourself. I mean, happy to pay for that one, just to share the knowledge and to show the power of the platform.
Thank you, Vasil.
Thank you so much.